Yo, what's up, guys? Brian Ellwood. Welcome back to the Virtual Real Estate Investing Podcast. In this episode, I'm just going to dive in and quickly tackle this question that I get from time to time about whether or not you should, if you have a deal come along, what should you do? Like, you don't really know, how much it needs in repairs, but you want to make an offer, but you need to get your contractor in there. What do? Do you just make the offer, or do you take time, get your contractor in there, come up with the exact offer, and then make that offer? The short answer is it depends. I actually use both techniques, and I'll tell you when I use each one and why. For me, there's not a super cut and dry or black and white answer to this question, but let's go over it, okay? So you have a deal come along. You have an opportunity, you get excited, you're like, oh man, house for $70,000. They say it needs 20 grand in repairs. I know I could rent that thing for $1,300. So, I really should buy this house, but, and then there's that, I'm not really sure, right? It's because there's things you're not aware of. There's unanswered questions about the deal. You don't really know for sure, is that 20K in repairs absolutely correct, and all that kind of stuff. You need to get in the house. Sometimes there's tenants in the house, all that kind of stuff. Okay. So you can make an offer right away on a deal. Okay. That deal hits your email. You look at it online, you look at comps, and you should at least have pictures to do this. I probably wouldn't do this without pictures just because it's shooting in the dark too much. But if I'm seeing pictures and I'm seeing, the breakdown of their repairs and that looks decent and I know what it would rent for and I've run comps and I kind of know the neighborhood, I might make an offer right out of the gate. Be like, I saw your email. You have this house for 70. I can do 60. I can close in 3 weeks or whatever. But here's the deal. If I do that technique where I just look at pictures online and all that stuff, then I absolutely am putting a pretty nice contingency in that offer to protect myself. What I'm going to do is ask for 2 weeks or at least 10 days. They might knock you down to 7 or 5, but you want to, with negotiating, you start higher. So ask for 10 days to 14 days as an inspection period, okay? And that's when you're going to go in and inspect the house. You're going to get your contractor in there. And that whole time, let's say they accept that offer that you made, that whole time you are the only one that can buy the house. You have control of the deal for that 10 to 14 day window, so that you've bought yourself time to go and do your real due diligence and then decide, do you want to stay in, renegotiate, or back out, depending on how the contractor visit goes, and also inspector, which I'll talk about a little bit later. Sometimes if you have someone on the ground local, like I teach to hire a project manager because I invest virtually in Tennessee, living in Colorado, I need someone there that is managing those contractors. So I'll send that person over to look at the house as well if I'm going to make this real quick offer, right? Because that person can get up and go that day, the day that the email comes in. So I might as well at least wait for that person to go over there and just, give me their thoughts. Because sometimes they'll go inside and be like, dude, it's a complete dump. It needs 50,000. And the email said 20,000, right? And then I'm like, okay, we got to, talk about this. So having that local person can help with this as well. But again, if you're going to do it this way, but you have more due diligence left to do, then you always build in an inspection period, okay? That is just part of negotiation, part of contract law, and it's what protects you, okay? Buyer has, 10 days from the date of signing this contract to do an inspection and can back out for any reason, right? You want to make sure that that's really clear. Another thing that you can put in there, assuming that there's a chance you may go past that 10 to 14 days, is that in the event that the buyer cannot perform on this agreement for any reason, the earnest money shall serve as the sole remediation. What that means is no matter what, even if you go past your inspection period, either by accident or the contractor takes too long, then the worst thing that can happen is you lose your earnest money. Okay, your earnest money that usually ranges from $500 to $2,000, and so essentially that earnest money, you want to. A lot of times they'll ask you to put that down when you make that initial offer, but you still have to get your contractor in there. So I say, all right, I'll give you the $60,000. I'll put down the $1,000 of earnest money. But I want a 10 to 14 day inspection period, and I want my earnest money refundable up until 10 to 14 days. The earnest money will go non-refundable after that. And then if I can't buy this house after we go past that inspection period for any reason, the earnest money will serve as the sole remediation. So the earnest money will go to the seller or the wholesaler or whatever, and they'll split it. And I'm backed out of the deal, and I only lost $1,000. Because sometimes you discover that the house is a shithole and you're going to lose tons of money if you buy it. So you'd rather just lose your $1,000 and move on. It doesn't happen a lot, but I'm just saying, like, this is like a stop loss. It protects you. That's the most you can lose if you are to go past your inspection period. Okay, so have that earnest money as sole remediation clause in there as well. Let's see. The other way to do it, okay? The other way to do it is that deal comes through. They want $70,000, $20K in repairs, $1,300 a month in rent. You're like, oh yeah, these numbers work for me, my model. When can my contractor get in there? So you ask the person, and then you call your contractor or have your project manager do it and try to get them scheduled as soon as possible. Now, this feels less risky, right? Because you're not like, shit hasn't gotten real yet. You haven't made an offer that got accepted, which is sort of always scary because then you're kind of on the, you're on the wire or whatever the word is for having to buy this deal, like because, you're under contract. You got to remember that clause protects you and you can back out, but it still feels really serious, right? The other way to do it, like I said, send that contractor over there. When you do it this way, someone could buy that deal out from under you, especially if it's listed on the MLS or if a wholesaler blasted out to a bunch of different people. It's not your deal, okay? You're just one of the people that's checking it out, right? So you could spend a bunch of time calling contractors, scheduling them, getting them over there, getting them in, pushing them, hurry, get me the repair estimates back. They finally get it back. And even if those numbers look good, you go back to the person who had the deal for sale and they're like, oh, sorry, we already accepted another offer. That happens a lot, okay? So that technique feels less committal and safer, but it's also can get you can lose deals, miss out on good deals. There's deals where I just still kick myself. I'm like, I could have bought a house for $30,000, that was worth 80, but I didn't make the offer. I wanted to get an inspection done, and I wanted to get a contractor estimate first. I should have just made an offer, got control of it, and then done that. Okay. So when I'm deciding which of these two options to use, here's kind of the way that I look at it. The first thing I look at is, how quickly can my contractor get over there? If I'm going to wait for the contractor, do I have a contractor that's currently very responsive that can get over there like today or tomorrow and get back to me tomorrow or the next day, right? Because that might be acceptable if I can figure out the real repair numbers within like 2 or 3 days. It also has to do with how hot I think the deal is. How good does that deal look on paper? Is it look really good? Like the numbers look really good for the neighborhood, compared to what it would rent for. How many people are competing for this deal? Sometimes you can ask or just get a feel for how many other people they have going over there to look at it and stuff like that. So that's a big thing for me. If a deal comes through and it looks really good, I'll be comfortable to go ahead and make an offer because I just want to get control of that thing. I don't want someone else to have a chance at it. I want to lock it down for at least like 5 days. Okay. Like that's probably the minimum. And then I can go over there and I can hustle, I'll even pay my contractor to go over there like $50 or something. Like, hey dude, I know you're busy, but could you go over there tomorrow? I'll give you $50 just to check this house out because I'm so excited about this seemingly really good deal. Okay. So that's sort of how I decide. If a deal comes through and I'm like, this doesn't look that great, but maybe I'll go check it out. I'll just send the contractor to go check it out. I won't go ahead and make offers and get that serious, because it just causes you to have to do more phone calls, more emails. You have to actually you have to actually mail the earnest money check and then get it refunded if you back out, right? So there's more commitment and involvement if you go ahead and if you do the technique where you make the offer first. All right. So that's sort of how I decide. And I lean towards the option of making the offer right away because, as an investor, you want to have control over the deal, right? You don't want to just be one of the dudes who's competing. You'd rather lock it down, have control over it, know your contracts, know what clauses you need to protect yourself, and you make that be the weapon that you use to get your deals. It's superior. If I had to pick one or the other, I would just do that every time. I'd be backing out of, more deals, maybe pissing some people off. But, the other technique is just too wishy-washy. It seems like the really good deals that come through, like they don't last long. The ones where here's an interesting tip, the deals where you have time to get a hold of your contractor and you get them in there and they finally get you the estimate back. And then if the deal sitting around for that long, it might not be a good deal anyways, right? Okay. Good deals go fast. It's a simple rule of real estate investing. They always do. They always will. Okay. So how fast a deal is going is a strong indicator of the strength of the deal itself. Okay. Last final tip, is like definitely don't just hinge everything upon a contractor's estimate. I always get professional certified home inspections too. Usually that's after I'm past the inspection period and my earnest money's already gone hard. I'll put another $300 into getting an inspection, making sure this deal is really going to check out before I really buy it. That's it, guys. I hope that helped answer this question. Again, it's not black and white, but lean towards making offers, getting confident in doing that, getting control of the deal, even if it's for a short period of time. And that's how this world works. Guys, the last thing I want to say is very quickly, so today's the 31st. I am launching a new group coaching program. If you're on my email list, you've actually been getting emails this week where I've been teaching and training. And next week on February 4th, I'm going to send you an email where I launch my program. And this is literally, guys, like $47 a month recurring. You can cancel anytime kind of thing. Coaching twice a week inside Facebook group with me. I'll just sit there and pound me with your questions. I'll get you everything you need to be successful. I wanted to make an offer that was where the value far exceeds the cost. There's a bunch of cool bonuses and stuff I'm going to throw in. And like I said, guys, this is something you guys could check out. If you don't like it, you can even get your money back. But yeah, so if you're not on my email list, go to get12houses.com now to get on the waiting list. Get the number 12houses.com. That link will actually turn into the sales page for this offer on February 4th. But now it'll just get you on the list. So either way, get the number 12houses.com. Get12houses.com. And you guys can find out more. And thank you so much for listening to this podcast. I got another email today from a guy who said he really appreciated last week's episode. And that means a lot to me, guys, that you listen to this podcast. And yeah, let me know what you want me to cover in the future. And to your freedom. Peace.